Hello Year 6. Today we are going to be making cauliflower cheese. This is a good recipe to know how to make, because once you know how to make a cheese sauce, you can also make macaroni cheese and any other vegetables you can put in it. This is what you're going to need. So we've got butter, cheese, obviously, milk. We've got oat milk because that's what we happen to have in the house, but any kind of milk will do. Plain flour, and of course your cauliflower. We need to turn on the oven to the required temperature, which is about 180 degrees. If you've got a fan oven, maybe a bit hotter if not. And so that can be heating up for when we're ready for it. And we need to get the kettle boiling, ready for some hot water for our cauliflower. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is carefully chop up the cauliflower. The leaves are fine to eat. I actually think they're the most delicious part of the cauliflower, so don't throw them away. Obviously being careful with knives, adults help if you need. So cutting off the leaves and cut them down into smaller pieces. You probably want to get rid of the woody stem bit right in the middle. And then you want to start cutting into your cauliflower, so you're cutting them into little florets like that, making sure to keep them far away from your fingers. Okay, so I am now going to boil the cauliflower, so carefully pouring in my boiling water until it is just covering everything in the pan. Get the hob on. Putting a lid on to let it boil using minimum energy. And then while that is starting to boil, I can start making my cheese sauce. Okay, so I am now putting the butter into a pan on a low heat where it is going to start to melt. I've got my flour at the ready, because when the butter starts to melt, I'm going to do the first part of making the cheese sauce, which is making the roux. Now the butter is pretty much melted, I can start adding the flour. I always actually just do this by eye, but I will put the quantities below the video so you can see. What you want to do is add the flour slowly, stirring all the time so that it gets all mixed in nicely with the melted butter. And then you want to keep doing it till it comes together in a bit of a ball, just a tiny bit more. And that is your roux, I think. And to that, you can start adding your milk. Now, the key to making a good cheese sauce is adding the milk really slowly. So you add a little bit, stir it in. You have to stir quite carefully here, otherwise the milk splashes everywhere, which I do at least once every time I make a cheese sauce. When that's all mixed in, add a little bit more. So the cauliflower has been cooking for about 5 minutes, so I'm just going to check that it's soft with a fork, check the stems, and it's ready to go. So so I need to drain it. So I'm going to turn the heat off, and then very carefully pouring that into a colander. And that can just sit on the side, draining until we need it. Meanwhile, the sauce is getting there. You can see that it's still quite thick though. So I'm going to keep adding more milk, and it's slowly cooking. It thickens as the flour cooks as well, so it will keep getting thicker even though we're adding more milk. So the white sauce is just about the right consistency, so you can see it's really smooth and about that running. The key to getting it smooth is just loads of stirring as you add the milk and making sure that it's all mixed in before you add the next lot. While it's doing this, the flour is cooking and it should just about be ready to add the cheese. The cheese is all melted into the sauce. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Give that a good mixing. And then it is ready to add to our cauliflower. So I'm turning the heat. Bring it over here. And pour it over, making sure all the cauliflower gets really well covered. The final thing to do is put some extra cheese on top. This goes really nice and brown and crunchy in the oven. That makes a really good top there. You can also add other things. We sometimes put breadcrumbs on the top or seeds or things, all of which make a delicious crunchy top there. So your cauliflower cheese is now ready to go in the oven. Okay, I'm having a look and it is getting some nice and crispy on top, so I think it is ready to come out. So making sure I stand back when I open the oven because there's lots of hot steam's going to come out. Whew. Very carefully in and upwards. That's looking pretty delicious. So we are also making some roast potatoes and carrots to go with it. You can have it with all potatoes, you can have it on its own. Like I said, you can put loads of different vegetables in there. You can do it with tomatoes, potatoes, anything you want in the dish. And you can also use that same cheese sauce and cover macaroni with it, so you can make macaroni cheese as well. So you are sorted with lots of different recipes. I hope you enjoy it.